shapes is how our technical operator, Jonathan Moulton, tells me that we are now ready to be live, which we are. We are live with you right now. It is a Wednesday. It's a gorgeous day here in Los Angeles. We had a small earthquake last night. Nothing to worry about. Not a further sign of the apocalypse. I'm convinced. Spencer GIlbert, how are you?
Oh, good. Yeah, a little jolt in the wee hours of the evening, but I went right back to sleep. I'm an old pro at this.
Danielle, how was your quake?
I was already awake. Everyone I know that is not responsible for the life of another human being, we're all usually it just used to be me up in insomnia hours. Now everyone is up until 4, and it's weird. It's like I feel like the children of they're on my lawn now. I'm like, I need all of film Twitter to be asleep so I can be the only one up tweeting nonsense at 4.
That's interesting. And I want to circle back to it from a psychological perspective. Like, you'd rather live in the loneliness than know that other people are up, because that tells you that the world is different and wrong.
Sure does.
Excellent. Joe Starr, how are you feeling?
I'm good. And I'm glad we're going to get into a little psychology today, because again, from what we understand, we're supposed to be a little more educational now. So I think that'll be a nice thing to get into.
Well, normally I save this till the end of the show, but you guys have been very good boys and girls. So I will give you your moment of existential dread now. Ryan tells us that apparently a very lovely, wonderful commenter came in and let us know that he uses our program as an educational tool in his classes. I will now never be here again, and I am terrified in every way, and I fear to think of the bad influence that I've already been on impressionable young minds. But Danielle, I trust that you've been a great role model.
No, I would not trust that at all. Nope.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, you can learn anything you want from YouTube. You don't need school. Drop out. Go to the school YouTube. Nope. Yeah. I'll teach you everything else.
Can I ask you
for him with a Cats clip immediately? Joe Starr, say something nourishing for.
If you guys were substitute teachers, what movie would you show instead of having to do anything?
Break into Electric Boogaloo. That's an automatic answer.
I get it.
You have to learn how to save the rec center. That should be a college course.
That's important. Like local politics are important.
Yeah. First of all, I think you're being sarcastic, Joe, but I'm going to double down on that and tell you why that film is full of good lessons. Lesson one, it is all about community, and it is about coming together in community in artistic form in order to support one another and to grow. 2, it is about the dangers of corporate greed, a very real thing that we should be concerned with. 4, it's about, was that the wrong number? We're not teachers.
G.
I'm just kidding. I'm so flattered. I'm so flattered by anybody that watches us. And certainly I have to imagine that what you're actually, thank you, Jonathan. That's much better. I have to imagine that anything that you're showing students is about movies and film and hopefully criticism. And hopefully we do have something to add there.
Boo.
This is
I've never looked better. That's
I'm true. I just want to do the show with cats. Assume that we have something, hopefully, to impart about criticism and the love of film and things like that. But Spencer GIlbert, what's your word of advice?
Oh, I'd put on the faculty if I were a substitute teacher. Yep. Put some fear into them. Obey.
Which, based on the 5 perfect movie prompt that was going around on Twitter yesterday, is one of my wife's 5 perfect movies, and rightfully so.
The Faculty?
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
All right, interesting.
Frame for frame. Nothing wrong with that film.
But I guess if I were like a teacher, something would have gone horribly wrong in my life, and I'd probably show them They Live, but teach them that the good guys and bad guys were reversed and you need to obey.
I was gonna say They Live.
Oh, there you go. Great minds.
All right. So obviously, as you guys know, it's RoboCop. That is a perfect movie. There are a few perfect movies. All About Eve is a perfect movie. RoboCop is structurally and in terms of its impartment of its intent, it 100% fulfills the intent, which is one of the big measures that I use for a movie. What was it trying to do? Did it fulfill that destiny? And with Verhoeven, it is almost inevitably yes, but certainly with RoboCop, it is a lesson and satire, and also It's like super brutal.
And speaking of all
if
about
I wanted to get fired as a
substitute
substitute teacher, which I probably would, that's what I'd show. Danielle.
Well, no, just and speaking of all about Eve, Showgirls is the same. Absolutely did exactly what he meant it to do, which was be a feminist critique on stuff.
You're being sarcastic.
I'm not. I actually really love that movie.
It is a great film, lady.
It is a really good movie. One of my favorite
It is a great film. Well, you know what? We have a headline that says The Mandalorian, and so far we have seen 0 Baby Yodas. So, Jonathan, I would like to replace every single one of us with a Baby Yoda. Thank you. Thank you. Immediately. We are here today to talk to you about The Mandalorian.
Buy me. Available holiday 2020. Oh, I'm back.
Not the Yaddle.
So pre-production has already begun on the 3rd installment of the Disney Plus series. This is via Variety. Sources close to the production have confirmed that creator Jon Favreau has been writing season 3 for a while. The art department, led by Lucasfilm Vice President and Executive Director Doug Chiang, has been creating concept for season 3 for the past few weeks. I have a couple of questions about what he's concepting in terms of creatures, because they are going to have to add on to the baby, I'm assuming, but let's return back to that.
Gonna hit puberty and start trying to grow a little mustache right here? Yeah.
No, I don't think he gets older. I'm just saying that, like, for me, I think like everybody else, every single episode, I was just waiting to see the kid. But do you think that they need to add other cute things for us to observe to keep enthralled? That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I imagine at some point they'll get the child, whatever, back to his home planet, and it'll be like a whole daycare full of them, you know?
Roth has never looked happier.
Jackpot.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see Baby Yoda's eventual, becoming, when the baby on a TV show starts getting older and they start getting sassier and they get their own catchphrase. I can't wait for him to say how wooed or wooed how or however it is they wind up doing it.
Not the mama.
Yeah.
Hollywood loves a sassy baby, man. So I was really glad that they held off on that trope. But season 2, all bets are off. Like, Hollywood loves a sassy baby.
Hollywood does. It also, typically speaking, in all seriousness, season 2 of a series like that has a dip, and then it comes back in season 3. So predict that dip. How are they gonna jump the shark, Spencer? We can come back.
They're gonna predict that dip. Just going off of what Bob Iger. Yes, Bob Iger said in an earnings call, is how excited he is for for Mandalorian season 2 to launch spin-offs for other Star Wars series. So it's going to be like, I'm imagining an Iron Man 2-ish type, like where an episode is just a pause to the planet of spin-offs, like Ahsoka Tano. It's just going to be like, hey, I'll bet you have some adventures to tell us about. Do you? And then
so that's a really good question, actually. Good dip prediction, not a bad dip prediction, because it's not unlike the Iron Man 2 dip, where they basically use the movie as a tool to promote to other movies. The movie itself was a marketing tool, so that would be a dip. That would be a mistake for The Mandalorian. And obviously, although she's being cagey about it, if Ahsoka's in it, will she then get her own series? Danielle, predict the dip.
The dip, I think, is going to be stunt casting. Spencer, plug your ears. I love wrestling, as we all know. I'm very excited that one of my favorite female wrestlers has been cast in the show. Her name is Sasha Banks. She is very good at wrestling. Talking, she could use some work on. But I think that what worries me the most is it's like, yeah, it's really cool. And I hope that she does well. I hope they all do well. I hope everyone who comes on who's in a different realm winds up pulling a Dave Bautista and being really good and interesting, but they're not all going to be winners. And I worry that kind of stunt casting is going to be something that bogs the series down, because they are so much about their guest stars, because it's, that's the series that it is.
Yeah, it's very episodic. Joe Starr, do you think that it will start to become a little more of a serialized show with an arc? Oh, it's got the mix right now, but do you think it remains mostly episodic?
Yeah, I think so. I think he has like a solid formula down. That nice hey, these are kind of standalone with an overall arc. I definitely don't think we're going to see a Baby Yoda planet, because this show tends to not give you anything happy or nice, really, aside from their relationship. So, yeah, I have a feeling that that season's going to end with landed on Planet Yoda, and it is a smoking wreck, and everyone is sad. I'm sorry to do that to you, Roth. But,
Yeah.
but you're going to hear.
Yay!
You're just going to see smoldering ruins. Someone's going to pick up like a beaten stick like Yoda has and look at it sadly, and then you're going to hear ba-doom, ba-boom, ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-boom, and
or again, I'll sorry to belabor this point, but they bring Baby Yoda back, and all the other 50-year-old Yodas are like, "Oh, that's the weird guy that pretends he's a baby."
So it's basically like the orphan.
Yes, it's exactly. And they're going to orphan Baby Yoda.
Okay, they're going to orphan Baby Yoda. I hate all of you except for Danielle, because
spoilers for the orphan, by the way.
I know that we've.
That's just a tiny lady.
Okay, can we call a moratorium on spoilers for a movie that's many years old? First of all, Sarah, thank you for joining us and bringing a little bit of delight into our day. I know we've talked about this before, but I genuinely don't believe that they didn't know what they had with Baby Yoda.
Well, they did. That's why they kept it under wraps, right? It was like, please don't put it in any of the marketing. Please let us keep this a surprise, because they knew they had gold, Jerry, gold.
Wasn't the story that Donald Glover or someone was like, "Don't show that baby"?
Why was Donald Glover looking at the baby?
That's just something he says.
That's what he yells at the end of songs now.
Well, important other bullet point from Ryan that he's asking me to get to is, in addition, another source with knowledge of the situation said that the production design department began working on season 3 on April 20th. Producers note, that's 420. Pointing to the fact that the department requires a long lead time. Obviously, Disney is feeling very bullish about this series if they've already moved into pre-production on season 3, as they just completed production on season 2. Sarah, question for you. Do you think that they are overestimating or correctly estimating the draw of the show, because it is clearly the centerpiece, and why they believe they will continue to gain subscriptions on the service?
Sarah says that based on the fact that this is the only Star Wars thing in media right now being overwhelmingly positively received, Disney Plus would be foolish to not just be cranking them out by the season full.
You know, salient as always, Sarah, and I think that now I'm going to retract my moment of existential dread and say that Sarah, in particular, has a lot to teach the youth.
She does. She does. How to throw up constantly on things she's not supposed to throw up on. How to claw her dad really hard if she can't get down from the chair. Just, life lessons.
Yeah, things we all need in order to be functioning adults. Spencer GIlbert, is it enough, though? Is The Mandalorian enough to compete with all of these other services? They've come out with a premium show. If you look at some of these other services, they're actually not coming out with huge attention grabbers like The Mandalorian, a little bit surprisingly to me.
That's what I was going to say is it's enough, because nobody's releasing anything. It seems like they made all these huge flashy announcements, and then I guess it's our fault for not having a reading comprehension. There, learn that, kids. But I guess it's like when they announce, a Lord of the Rings series, and it's going to be bigger than anything they've ever done on television. I guess we just kind of gloss over the date where it's like, that won't come out until 2024 or something like that.
It'll take 5 years to make.
Like they announce these things, or it leaks or whatever, so far before it actually shows up on our screens that I think we get like expectation fatigue. And so the fact that Mandalorian is coming later this year, allegedly, season 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because they actually got lucky, unlike shows like The Walking Dead, and they were able to wrap production before the stay-at-home order came. What I don't know is, because there's so much CGI in that show, is, we've talked about a lot that's been one of the tricky parts because of NDAs and fears about leaks, and that's got to be even more true with something like The Mandalorian. I don't know if that's going to hold up the process.
Yeah, I think that Maybe Disney can take some of their furloughed park employees and just have them hold a gun to an animator's head from 6 feet away to make sure they don't leak anything before
Yeah.
they're done with it.
It's that kind of innovation that I think that we do have to offer, that kind of innovative thinking that we have to offer the young citizens of the world that are coming up in corporate America. Again, I would return to RoboCop as a good example of corporate violence. Danielle, I do think it's interesting. Spencer brought up the point that like these shows, these big premium shows are announced and then we don't see them for many years because obviously they take a long time to make. However, Disney planned it correctly. You know what I mean? They knew when their service was going to announce, they knew that they needed a premium show with it and they had one ready. So it's not like other services outside of the shutdown in production in the last month and a half. It's not like other services couldn't have done that. They just didn't.
Yeah, well, and it's also, when you talk about Disney, obviously we're talking about these huge things. So they can come out the gate and be like, oh yeah, we're going to have a Mandalorian show. We're going to have, these MCU shows. We're going to have all this stuff. Like, don't worry about it, and already have it in pre-production. They've already got, their sets have already like so locked down that they could be working on anything with any title, and you wouldn't necessarily know about it. Whereas I think for some of these other services, they want people to be so hype that they forget that, you start to get really drained when it's like, haven't we been talking about that Lord of the Rings series for, 2 years now? And it's like, well, yeah, but like orcs don't happen overnight. It takes a while for you to actually be able to build these things and do the production. But I think it was just literally, we have to make sure that people have a reason to get excited about what is coming up, especially because so many premium shows, big shows, Game of Thrones, all these shows were ending or had announced end dates, that they were like, we have to just immediately just feed people what we know we're going to have, even though we know that we're, the ink is still like wet and we've barely done any work, but we have to get people hype and on board and having them know that something else is going to be coming to maybe fill that void.
Yeah, Joe and Sarah, things like Apple.
Right now, it's weirding me out, honestly.
She's doing a little bit of a Blair Witch thing. Can I tell you guys something really quickly? No, it's super creepy. Yeah, I love Sarah. That's weird what she's doing right now. My cat does it too, where she just Blair Witches to the wall. Don't know what's happening there. I assume possession by some kind of demon. We used to have the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, a statue of him in our studio that was just weirdly Blair Witching and just staring at the wall.
Yeah, he was
and
bad.
It always bothered me, but yet I never moved it, which is my new lesson for today. I easily could have removed that obstacle, but I didn't.
Nah, because if you would have moved it, it would have just been like Slipknot, where it would have showed up somewhere, and we all would have been.
Take your power is what I'm trying to tell you, folks. Move the Stay Puft Man. Joe, I think things like Apple services like Apple tried to launch with big premium shows or what they thought would be really attention grabbing, like the Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon return to television. Reese has been on a lot, but Jennifer Aniston returned to television, but it didn't really move the needle. Yeah. So I think what I'm saying is everyone needs a really cute alien baby. Is that right?
I mean, cute alien baby, yeah, but also like an IP everyone cares about, unfortunately. Everyone's launching with like legitimately good shows. But a Breaking Bad or a Sopranos or something like that that's going to genuinely from week to week be a water cooler show is rare to break out these days because there's so much like peak TV right now, like all of it's kind of noise and all of it blends together. And Disney has that huge advantage of being like, y'all want an Obi-Wan Kenobi? Y'all want a Captain America? We got Obi-Wan Kenobis and Captain Americas over here at Disney Plus. Over at Apple, Defending Kevin, we have to talk about Jacob. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like legitimately looks fantastic. I really want to watch it, but like the return of a beloved actress to TV and stuff like that, I just don't think that stuff turns heads as much as like they just announced a Magneto series. What?
Yeah, you need a library and original shows. Get you a service that can do both.
Because even Disney Plus has learned that they can't lean on the library too hard. Because I feel like Mandalorian dropped and everyone kind of went, now what? I don't want to watch the Jeff Goldblum show, so now what? And they were like, Sword in the Stone, Robin Hood, and everyone kind of went, what you got?
I think that's really true. And it's interesting because there are shows that, Breaking Bad, it took a minute for it to find its footing.
Yeah, totally.
And the ratings on it were never, especially for like network perspectives, crazy like The Walking Dead, but it was really strong, and it was certainly a cult hit. But I look at something like that I think is excellent television right now, like Devs, like Killing Eve, especially in the first season, and Better Call Saul. And I do think that you have trouble with shows like that finding traction. They're not really water cooler shows for most people. They're not really appointment viewing. I think
especially
they should be.
Especially with a structure like what Netflix is doing with 3 seasons and then you're probably done.
Yeah.
You know, people didn't start to notice Schitt's Creek until season 4. Or halfway through season 5, or everyone freaked out about the finale and a bunch of people went, okay, I'll finally give this show a look, since like my best friend is like sobbing over it. So yeah, I think that sort of IP-less stuff is going to have a harder and harder time landing.
First of all, I cried so hard at the Schitt's Creek finale. That's a good question.
The last season yet, but
what's a good perfect series finale? And I would put that up there as one. It was.
Oh yeah, cool. I'm excited to see it.
Wait, you haven't watched it yet?
No, we haven't had the heart to watch the last season yet. Oh. Honestly,
it's so good. What do you guys? What's kind of appointment viewing for you guys? I know, Spencer, we have some of the same shows that we love.
Yeah, Devs and Better Call Saul are I guess Devs just ended, and so did Better Call Saul this season. But those have been the absolute, like, well, first of all, they are appointment viewing because they come out at a certain day and time, which is rare. I don't know too many other shows that do that anymore. So it's really been those two for this quarantine for me. And I don't know if it's recency bias, but I think they're two of the best shows I've ever seen.
Danielle?
Right now, Insecure just came back, and I love that show.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah. I love Insecure.
It's a great show. It's one of the few shows that I think really shows LA as LA is. It feels like the LA that I live in and everyone I know lives in. And it's just really good. Great characterizations, really good relationships. Issa Rae is hilarious. So that's kind of the show that I'm getting into right now. It's really funny. It's a half-hour show, which is perfect for a comedy. It doesn't try to drag it into 45 minutes. It knows it needs to be a half an hour. So yeah, it's great.
So Danielle, you actually just made a great segue. First of all, that is a great show. And second of all, you just made a segue for us. We're going to skip ahead to a fan question because it was perfect what you just did. The question comes from Rob Turner, who asks, is there anything about your local area that the movies or TV shows keep getting wrong? For example, my family were bugged by the Norfolk accents in Fighting with My Family.
Well, as someone who only recently learned that people have different accents in England, depending on where they live, I hadn't really started thinking about that until lately, because I kind of thought everyone just sort of sounded like a chimney sweep based on, just my education through movies. Kentucky, I don't know. A lot of actors do like the same Southern accent for everywhere. It's when people in a movie set in Kentucky or about my state say Louisville. It just, my ear starts to bleed just a little bit. It's Louisville. You have to like pretend like you just Novocaine'd up most of your mouth and then go Louisville. And that's how you pronounce the name of my city. Otherwise, it's just not authentic.
Louisville.
Even less effort. One more time.
Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Makes me tired to say it. Spencer, I feel like I know one bone that you have to pick with the movies or TV shows about Los Angeles, which is I think you don't like the stereotypical Los Angeles is ridiculous, dumb, shallow tropes.
I mean, it is, but it's so much more. But it's so much more. I do think that shows about LA do focus mostly on the entertainment industry and like the heights of the entertainment industry. Like you think like Entourage is LA, but it's a lot more party down. And then it's also so much more than that industry. And I do think going to steal Danielle's answer, that Insecure is like an amazing look at like, it's actually an enormous, very diverse and interesting city with a lot of people doing a lot of different things from all sorts of walks of life. So I'll snag that one from Danielle.
I'll say City of Gold, which is a documentary about, it's a food documentary about a very famous food critic in Los Angeles, and he loves Los Angeles. He really does. And like it's one of those things when you have those rare moments of connection. It's like the city is a character, but for him, you can tell like the city is a living thing in his life. And he really knows like the scope and the breadth of Los Angeles and the diversity of the culture in Los Angeles. So if you want to see a side to LA that you probably don't normally in movies, I would watch City of Gold. And you'll also get really hungry, so have some food ready. Danielle, how about you?
Well, no one really puts stuff in Seattle. So I will say I used to live in Hawaii for like a while. And that's another one where people just really focus on the nicer parts or the touristy parts. There are a lot of really, really, really poor areas in Hawaii, and like no one really, I guess some shows show them, but most places do not show them, because if you're setting something in Hawaii, why wouldn't it be surfing? Why wouldn't it be bikinis? Why wouldn't it be yoga retreats? And it's like, no, there's also like, there's really, really, which is where I grew up because I lived on military bases, and those are always surrounded by poor areas. There are really, really poor areas of Hawaii. Like that's why spam is a thing. So I guess that's something that's always really bothered me, because I feel like you never get to see a lot of what really makes Hawaii Hawaii. You just get to see like the parts of it that are on postcards.
Yeah. As you guys know, the most realistic depiction of an upbringing that I have ever seen is Kids. Which is very much like my teenage years. I'm not kidding. It really is so spot on accurate for what my teenage years were like. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for liking, subscribing, watching us. We have something really fun for you that is going on today. You can register. You can join the fun right now, this second at 11:30 a.m. There will be a link in the description where you can go join the pre-show for our Hey Fandom series. It's like a Comic-Con panel kind of with Sonic writer Pat Casey, where you can ask your own questions. You can join us. You can ask Pat about working in the industry, like we've been talking about, what people get right, what people get wrong about it, what it actually takes to write a screenplay and get it made. I will be asking him that. And what it's like to work with the studio notes. Like you can go ask whatever you want within reason to
Spencer
Pat
and I
Casey.
will mostly be asking about Sonic Christian fan art.
Yes, you can ask about Sonic and the Chili Dog, which as we know from our wikis, that is a ship that is very, very popular. And that is a real thing. Sonic and the Chili Dog. People want Son Chili. Go sign up right now. The link is in the description below. The show starts at noon. It's going to be really, really fun. We have some surprises there. We might have an honest trailer tease for you. We do, I'll just tell you. And then Spencer's going to be there. You can come up and ask your own questions. So the pre-show starts right now. Billy the Business put that pre-show together. It's actually really fun. So you can sign on right now and have it in the background and even keep both windows open. And then we will be popping over there at noon to start that show. Ask your questions about how they made Sonic run so fast. It was teaser. It was mostly improv on the part of Sonic.
Yeah, in the script, he's just average speed, but Ben Schwartz, really, it was his idea to make Sonic fast.
It's like when Robert Downey Jr. made everyone sit down on the spot in Iron Man.
Yes.
Very similar.
And the show is all in support of Direct Relief, which we've been talking about here, that it's the people that are getting, thank you, Direct Relief. Show is in support of that. The people that are getting the much needed medical supplies to those workers right on the front lines of COVID. So it's going to be a fun show. It's in support of a great cause. Please do join us at noon. Click that link right now. Click. Like for 2,000 likes today, I will make Ryan sing for his soup. I will make butternut squash soup, and then Ryan will have to sing for it, and then I will deliver it to Ryan. All of that will happen. most of that will happen. He's giving me a thumbs up. So I can make him do that, y'all. I can do that. All right. Aaron Hardy says, if you could design and pilot your own Jaeger from Pacific Rim, what would you name it? And what's your signature weapon? Joe, I think you have some kind of accoutrement for this.
I found a Pacific Rim Jaeger name randomizer. So who wants dibs on Warrior Bobcat?
Me.
Perfect.
I mean, I'm gonna roll my own, Joe. I don't need a generator.
I appreciate
this is for a Jaeger, right?
Yeah.
My Jaeger.
Yeah.
My Jaeger's gonna be Coyote Ugly.
Ooh.
Solid. Very, very.
I think mine would be Jaeger, which is just Beyonce as a Jaeger.
The Jaeger.
I like that. That's
Did anybody just do Jägermeister?
Ooh,
That's the Meister.
Well, that's when they all join together.
Sarah, what's Sarah's?
She hates those movies. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sarah.
Sarah's a Robot Jocks purist.
Whoa, hot
Nice.
takes from Sarah the cat. Joe, what's yours? And your weapon, you gotta name your weapon. Call your shots.
Okay, I got him. I did just find one. The randomizer just gave me one called Voodoo Glory. That's good. It's a little culturally appropriate-y, but you know what? What's an action movie without something problematic? So I'm going with Voodoo Glory.
So I am Wild Bobcat Jägermeister. Right?
Wild Bobcat Jägermeister. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. My weapon of choice is being drunk.
Don't drink and pilot the Jaeger, Roth. That's the first thing they tell you in Jaeger school.
Another lesson for you guys today. Don't drink and pilot the Jaeger. There you go. What's your weapon, Danielle?
I think it would just have to be a tiny, but not too tiny version of Blue Ivy Carter.
Yeah, a launchable Carter.
Yeah, launchable Blue Ivy Carter. You just launch those at people, and they're either adorable or she attacks you with her little hands.
Oh, I just realized my Jaeger is Bob Iger, and it's just this.
Bob Iger.
And your weapon of choice is your ability to sway the board?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Well, Coyote Ugly's weapon is Rowdy Roddy Piper Parabo.
Does your Jaeger wear a kilt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she just dance you into submission?
Well, right before she fires it, she goes, "Can't fight the moonlight," and then.
Well, no, that's a much more good.
Just when those kaiju thought they knew the answers, Rowdy Roddy Piper Parabo changes the question.
God, I miss that movie. I love going to a bar and getting sprayed with water. That's my favorite thing, to go to a bar.
And not be able to order water.
Not be able to order water, and then they drench you.
They
love
drench
this
you.
bar! Can't find the moonlight.
Hell no, H2O. I might have Coyote Ugly memorized.
They tried to do that to me at a Joe's Crab Shack once. I ordered a burger, and they were like, "This idiot wants a burger." And I was like, "I do. What's wrong with you? This is
It's on your menu. I'm gonna take it off your menu if you don't want to make it."
Yeah.
You should have told them you were Joe and that they had to obey
this
you.
is my Crab
You
Shack.
failed your test. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rissy NC, I think that's how to pronounce it. If I did that incorrectly, I apologize, Rissy. Since we can't meet in groups, I've been thinking a lot lately. What film would you want to watch at a block party with your neighbors? Kid and Play. That's
Solid.
it.
Oh,
Solid
wow.
choice.
Okay, yeah.
Block party movie.
I feel like I'd want to go musical.
Ooh, yeah.
Everybody some sing along time. A Goofy movie. I think your neighborhood singing Powerline songs would be fun, or Blues Brothers would be a lot of fun to watch with like a big group.
What
I don't know why this would actually be a bad choice, but I just feel like watching Beavis and Butthead Do America again. So, I'd make everyone watch that.
What about like just Step Up 3D and make it a dance party?
I'll watch Step Up anytime. It doesn't have to be a block party, but yes, that definitely works for like
right. I think that John Chu was he was tweeting like, "I'm watching Step Up. I haven't watched it in so long." I'm like, why would you not? Get on TikTok right now. And can you live TikTok a thing where he reenacts the dance moves? That feels like it's a TikTok. Is that a TikTok?
I think that's a Instagram live.
Is that an Instagram?
Yeah.
TikTok doesn't have that ability.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't talk or tip. I am a grown woman.
Right. Well, we are here full of wisdom for the youth of America. As always, I have delivered you your moment of existential dread too early in the show, so I'm going to leave Spencer with today's Screen Junkies threat.
Kids, if you don't get a good GPA, it doesn't matter. It's not on your diploma.
Also, you can just tell people you graduated from college. No one checks.
Where's Joe? Okay, here's an actual Screen Junkies threat, and this is true. If you're applying for a real job, they do a background check, y'all. They really do. So they will find out if you didn't graduate from college with the GPA that you said you did. So strive, work harder, be better, get a 4.0. There's nothing stopping you but you from removing the Stay Puft.